The world of Chinese entertainment has been shaken once again as new revelations emerge about the tragic death of actor and singer Menglong. For weeks, the public was told his fall from the sixth floor of a building was nothing more than a heartbreaking accident after a night of heavy drinking. Police closed the case quickly, ruling out foul play. His grieving parents released a letter asking fans to stop speculating and respect their privacy. Yet today, the silence has been shattered. His girlfriend, actress Xing Fei, has stepped forward to aid police in their ongoing inquiries. And the secrets she revealed may change everything we thought we knew about Menglong's final days. According to exclusive statements obtained by Phoenix Weekly, Xing Fei disclosed that Menglong had been battling serious psychological instability for at least 2 months before his death. He would oscillate between long stretches of silence and sudden bursts of tears, often late at night when he felt most vulnerable. "He told me things that broke my heart," Xing Fei said. "Sometimes he would just sit quietly, staring at the floor. Then suddenly, he'd look up and whisper, 'They won't let me rest. I feel trapped.'" He explained that he never clarified who they were. She believed it was connected to his management company and certain colleagues who had treated him harshly. Xing Fei's revelations now add a chilling new layer to the story. For the first time, the narrative of a simple accident has been punctured by evidence of systematic bullying, relentless pressure, and self-destructive coping mechanisms. "He told me he was being humiliated, that people around him were watching him, isolating him. He never named names, but I could see the pain in his eyes," she explained. This was not just about drinking too much one night. This had been happening for months. The actress recalled that Menglong's behavior became especially erratic 2 months before his death. He began ignoring calls from close friends, spending long hours alone in his apartment, drinking heavily every evening. His dependence on alcohol, she claimed, was not recreational but medicinal, a way of numbing the constant torment he felt from work pressures and interpersonal conflicts. He was never drinking for fun, Xing Fei explained. He was drinking to forget, to shut out the voices, to push away the humiliation he felt daily. The situation worsened when, after his death, investigators discovered a significant amount of sedatives inside the building where he had fallen. This detail has not been widely reported until now, but sources confirmed that large quantities of prescription tranquilizers were found in one of the rooms he frequented. Combined with the alcohol in his system, the image is not of a man who chose to end his life suddenly, but of a man trapped in a destructive cycle of dependence and despair, possibly fueled by external pressures. The picture painted by Xing Fei is heartbreaking. She described late-night phone calls where Menglong would speak in riddles, as if hinting at dangers he could not openly discuss. "Once he called me at 3 a.m., she said. His voice was shaking. He told me, if I disappear, remember it wasn't me. I begged him to explain, but he hung up." She now believes these were cries for help, subtle attempts to alert her that he was in trouble, without directly confronting the forces he feared. In the weeks before his death, Xing Fei noticed that he seemed to be retreating further into himself. On one occasion, during a quiet dinner, he barely touched his food, then excused himself to the bathroom for half an hour. When he returned, his eyes were red and swollen from crying. She asked what was wrong. He only whispered, "They want me gone," and refused to elaborate. These haunting words now hang over the investigation like an unanswered question. Friends and colleagues have confirmed aspects of his strange behavior. A staff member from a recent drama set recalled how Menglong often kept to himself. He wasn't like the others, laughing and chatting. He stayed in the corner, quiet, sometimes staring at his phone for long periods. Once, I saw him delete a whole string of messages. He looked nervous, like he was hiding something. Anecdotes now align disturbingly with Xing Fei's account of a man suffocating under invisible pressures. Autopsy confirmed a high blood alcohol level, but also noted injuries inconsistent with the fall. Bruises on his arm and scratches on his hands suggested pre-existing trauma. Forensic experts consulted by Phoenix Weekly suggested these injuries might point to restraint or self-harm prior to the fall. Xing Fei believes they reflect the violence of his emotional struggle, if not physical conflict with others. "He was breaking down," she said. "He told me many times, 'I don't know how much longer I can survive this.'" In Part 2 of this explosive investigation, focus shifts to the darker truths surrounding Menglong's work environment, the shadow cast by his management company, Colleagues he hinted were mistreating him. And the shocking evidence of sedative abuse. As Xing Fei continues to cooperate with police, her testimony raises the question, was this truly suicide? Or was Yu Menglong driven to the edge by forces too powerful to resist? The curtain lifts again with new revelations. Sources confirmed to Phoenix Weekly that sedatives were indeed discovered in the building where Yu Menglong fell. Dozens of pills, many still in their packaging, were scattered around the small side room he often visited. This raises chilling possibilities. Was he using these drugs to escape unbearable stress? Was he prescribed them without proper oversight? Or, as some online speculate, planted to mask a deeper crime? Xing Fei insists the sedatives were part of a long-term pattern. He told me he had trouble sleeping. He said he couldn't close his eyes without seeing faces that mocked him, without hearing voices telling him he was worthless. He admitted he had been taking pills for months. Sometimes, he took them with alcohol. I was terrified for him. Words suggest not only self-destructive behavior but also a psychological collapse triggered by external abuse. This abuse, she claims, was rooted in his work environment. According to her, Menglong often complained about his management company's treatment of him. He told me they used him like a machine. When he was exhausted, they told him to keep going. He struggled, they mocked him. He said some colleagues isolated him, refused to speak to him, or spread rumors. He felt like he was being erased. Revelations shed new light on his earlier statements to his mother, who also recalled him crying and saying he was being bullied. Taken together, the testimonies of his girlfriend and his parents create a disturbing portrait of systemic mistreatment. Far from a man who suddenly chose suicide, Yu Menglong appears as someone cornered, vacated by the very industry that made him a star. The night of his death now takes on a new dimension. Security footage showed him pacing in the hallway, repeatedly clutching his head and making unanswered calls. His final text to Xing Fei read, "If I disappear, remember it wasn't me." These are not the words of someone calmly choosing to end his life. They are the words of a man who feared forces outside his control. Internationally, the story has caught fire. Lines across Asia frame his death as the latest in a troubling pattern of stars crushed by pressure and secrecy. On social media, hashtags like "Justice for Yu Menglong" and "Truth for Menglong" dominate. Fans demand answers, questioning why the industry has failed to protect one of its brightest talents. Xing Fei's role in this unfolding tragedy has now become central. Her cooperation with police not only provides critical testimony but also strengthens the parents' call for justice. Together, they represent a united front against silence, insisting that Yu Menglong's story cannot be reduced to the label of suicide. This was not suicide, Xing Fei declared in her exclusive interview. This was destruction. This was what happens when a kind and gentle person is crushed by cruelty. He deserved better. He deserved peace. The conclusion of this story remains uncertain. Yu Menglong's death a tragic result of personal demons, exacerbated by alcohol and pills? Or was it the culmination of sustained mistreatment, bullying, and manipulation from those around him? Until further evidence is released, the truth remains obscured. Thanks to Xing Fei's courage, the world now sees his death not as a closed case, but as an open wound demanding justice. Parents grieve and his girlfriend fights for answers. One question refuses to fade: if Yu Menglong had been heard, if his cries had been taken seriously, would he still be alive today? One thing is certain, the shocking truths revealed by Xing Fei have forever changed how the world remembers Yu Menglong. He was not just a star who fell. He was a man who suffered, who fought silently, and who left behind a mystery that will haunt the industry until justice is served.